A couple months back, almost 6 months back, somebody asked me a question, and it was a person I looked up to. And they asked me, "Why are you so scared of failure?" And my answer was that it stings, it feels so bad. That's the reason. And that time, the person was like, "You just gotta do more of it, and then you'll get good at it." And that made sense, but then that didn't solve the problem of failure stinging like a lot. And 6 months later, I'm sleeping in my bed, and it dawns upon me that why failure actually stung me so badly and why it stings me over again and again. And so let me share that with you with an example, right? I was doing sales. We'll take the same example that I just told you guys. I was doing sales and I failed in a sale. The thing is, I didn't actually break down or actually feel like very sad until I picked up the phone and called my team members and the guy who was leading the whole organization. And when I did that, that's when it hit me like, oh God, this is so bad. I suck. God, it might be the end of my life. I'll never be good at this stuff. And it was a very difficult moment. I remember just looking down, not locking eyes with anybody because I was extremely sad and I would probably break down. And so, before that call, when the sale actually fell through, I was fine. I knew that I was gonna suck because it was like my fourth or fifth time doing it in person sales, and if somebody does that, they know how scary it can be. If not, then you're a natural salesman, and maybe your skills got built in some other part of your life. But the first time you're doing a sale in person, or the fifth time in my case, I was still very bad at it, and I knew I was meant to be bad, so it didn't hurt me at that moment. But when I actually finished the calls, it hurt me. So then it dawned upon me that what is actually hurting me wasn't my failure itself, it was me disappointing my team, disappointing people around me. And so that is the main reason that failure stings so much and why it feels so bad. It's because you know others have expectations on you, and when you let them down, even though they probably don't care, their expectations were not based on anything. They just thought you were good at it, and maybe you'd get it in your fifth try, 10th try, 100th try, and you didn't get it, and you feel like you let them down. It might be your parents, it might be your friends, it might be your family, it might be people working in your organization, people working in your team. And so you can see how many different expectations pile up on one person. And when you do mess up, I think inherently, if you've understood that it's okay to mess up, the individual part of you will not be sad. And there are two aspects of this, of course, that are disappointing others and disappointing yourself. Disappointing yourself, I'll touch on a bit later, but disappointing others is one of the worst feelings, and it came to me after 6 months. That's the shocking part. While sleeping in bed, because that sentence, that "why does failure hurt so much," just was stuck in my head for 6 months, and now I know why. So it took me a lot of time to figure out why it hurts. It's probably because you care about their opinions, and I'm not gonna say stop caring about their opinions or something like that, because I don't think I have the right answer for it right now. And maybe after 6 more months, I'll have the answer and I'll share it with you. But until then, I had something else to tell you, that you've obviously been on the receiving end, and you've failed others' expectations, but you might also be on the giving end a lot of times, and you might be setting expectations for people and without any data, or you might just be building pressure on them. So, for this time, until I have the solution of how to deal with it, first I just tell you to be kinder to other people, and when setting expectations and when the person fails, actually just go and speak to them and tell them it's okay. I didn't expect you to do it the first time, the 10th time, and it's okay to fail. That just means you're getting better. So, this is something that we should work on. And even though if they do let you down, the person itself, I know it'll be a very shocking moment for you because they've let you down, and maybe your organizational goals are not hit or your ulterior motives are not done. But understand that the person is growing too, and as much as possible, yeah, just be there for them and help them out. And coming to the second part of today, this is monologue, today's monologue, yeah. So that is disappointing yourself. That, oh god, that's like the most difficult thing to get through because it's expectations that you set on yourself. And unless you look at the data, you'll just be crushing yourself. You'll be like, man, I'm not good enough, man, this is so bad. Will I ever be successful? Will I ever do this? Will I ever do that? But I've said this before, success is in the efforts, but if you still fail your ulterior motives or the outside goals, not the intrinsic ones, then it might hurt because you have probably disappointed yourself a bit. But at that moment, you need to look back and think and see, reflect upon everything that you've done till now. And if it was everything that you could do, it was everything that was possible in your power, then I think it'll be a very peaceful moment that you're gonna have because you did everything you could and it didn't work out. That means it's just the timeline gap. You need to extend your timeline. And so that is how disappointing yourself can be worked through. Before the check coming in place, before the period coming in place where you find out that god, I'm disappointed with me, before that you need to give it everything possible, everything that you have done, everything that you can do it, and kill every action that you take. Do it the best that you can. And once you're at the point where you have disappointed yourself, because we don't set realistic timelines, we are humans, we are going to make mistakes, at that moment, yeah, just reflect back and you'll have a peaceful moment. At least that's how I do it. And that's why the problem hasn't been for me disappointing myself, it's been disappointing others. And maybe after some more intrinsic reflection, I'll have an answer for the first part, how do you deal with disappointing others, and after 6 more months maybe. But that is why failure stings a lot. It's because of the disappointment aspect of it. You've built up expectations, you've built up so many dependencies, and when it doesn't fall through, that's when you feel like, damn. So for yourself, you know how to deal with it, and with others, maybe it will take a lot more intrinsic reflection, not just on my part, but I think it's going to be on your part too. So do it and keep failing.